Hi, my name is Montevita, and I'm here to talk to you about the era that contributed the most to the way we live now with, a lot of different things. I first want to start off by saying thank you, Mr. Stan, for having an incredible class. The way you set up our workstation, I guess you can say, was well organized and well structured. And so it made it a lot easier of a process in order to get things done. And I feel like we related to you a lot better through the reference of your class and the way it was set up and the textbook. So thank you for that, and this class has been incredible. But that's besides the point. I wanted to get that out the way. I went through this book or these past couple of chapters, and I've done a lot of thinking. And whenever you put, whenever I read these chapters, I think that there's one major topic in each chapter that you can throw into one whole chapter of its own and create like a super chapter, which is incredible. But I can't do that. So I had to choose one chapter, and through a lot of research and a lot of thumbing through the book, I've come to the conclusion that our previous chapter that we just got done doing, which is chapter 15, the globalism era, has played the biggest role into the way we live now. It's crazy to see how far that we've come, good and bad. So I want to start off by saying racial equality is probably, it's up there with my other thing that I'm going to state next. But racial equality is one of the biggest issues I have with this era, and that's bad. So as much good as there is in this era, there's also a lot of bad that still occurs to this day, which is sad. Which is, what I want to get into with racial equality. I don't get it. I don't understand why we still live the way we do or think the way we do. That mindset should have been left back in the early 50s, 60s, however long it went on, however long it's, and sadly enough, it's still going on. It started with slavery. Luckily, Abraham Lincoln got a hold of a document called the Emancipation Proclamation. He created it, 1863, freed slaves, liberation, woohoo. Applaud him for that. Imagine if he lived during this era. I mean, I can only imagine the good he'd be doing now, but that's not the case, obviously. But that wasn't enough. We thought that'd be the end of it, but that was not. God, not even close. World War II. After we had just finished World War II, you think after finishing Nazis off in Germany that that's not enough stress or like enough hard work. Well, I guess it wasn't enough. So they came back, and racial discrimination was at its highest peak ever. You could not do anything with a white person or an African American person and be okay with that in that world that they had lived in, which is incredibly sad. There was division everywhere amongst those two groups. You had buses, you had water fountains, you had schools, lesser education in an African American school. Overall, it's just a crazy process. And this has sparked the civil rights movement. And I think the only reason the civil rights movement was as big as it was because of Martin Luther King and what he was able to do. I applaud this man. Absolutely incredible. He was the eyes and ears for almost, not even almost, for every African American that had a problem relating to racial discrimination. He was able to put all that weight on his shoulders, and I'm sure he didn't mind because he loved what he did. He was able to put all that weight on his shoulders and carry them on his back through marches, speeches, you name it. This man was able to do it for his people, and I love that about him. So imagine if him and Abraham Lincoln were still alive in this era. Oh my gosh, their presence would be felt. Trust me. But that's besides the point. I don't want to get into side topics. So racial equality was big in the wrong way, I guess you can say, and that's kind of sad to say in a way, but that's just how it is. The next biggest thing, and this is by far, I've read all this book. I've been in Junior Humanities 1, and there's nothing that's played a bigger role than what it has now, and that's the informational explosion that's stated in one of the topics. It's incredible to see us how far we've come as humans when it comes to technology. I can't fathom like how well we've transitioned smoothly over. It's incredible. 1990, the internet was created, and even then, I'm sure the creators were like, "What's next? What do we do now with the internet?" I don't think there's much we can do, and it's just exploded since then. I was born in 1995, and it's 2015 current time. So to think that from 1995 to 2015, what is that? 20 years, and it only amount 20 years. Oh my gosh. Computers are a lot smaller. What used to be a computer was the size of my room, and I have a pretty decent sized room. And to know that that used to be one computer, it's just, I can't even imagine what that was like to have to go through. That was such a pain, You know what I mean? And I'm sure in their times they thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And we take what we have now from the technological side of things for granted, which is incredible. So you have computers that are 13 to 16 inches, even higher, and that can fit anywhere in our hand, in a book bag, and we have I already said computers. I mean TVs that are extremely thin. That back then, and even like 2004, we had the 50 inches that were on the ground. They had the back end that was just absolutely huge, and we just thought that was the stuff. So it's just crazy how far we come. You know, computers have been absolutely incredible. Like I think they've done more good than bad, like outweighing the two if you did a ratio. And you know, there's a lot of bad. Cyberbullying, obviously being the one you think of the most. Hacking is just, oh my gosh, hacking's huge now. Credit card fraud over the computer and like just a lot of different things you can do. But I think there's been more good than there has been bad. You have movies, you have music videos, golly, TV shows, video games. The list goes on and on. People work solely through the workstation on a computer. The computer's their workstation through Facebook, through Twitter, things that people wouldn't even thought of the words then, foreign words, and 20 years ago, you know, when I was born. So I really do applaud them for that. How far we've come in the short amount of time. Every 6 months, it feels like something different is coming out. So those two things I feel like are the biggest things. Other things were pretty big, but nothing compares to those two. Good and bad, those two, oh, completely outweigh everything else. So there's that. I want to thank Mr. Sam. Everybody have a good day.